How to compare fractions. Introducing common denominator. The common denominator of 5 and 4 is 20 because both 5 and 4 divide evenly into 20. Here's the picture of 3/4 and 2/3. The picture shows that 3/4 is larger than 2/3. Notice that each fraction has been renamed to 9/12 and 8/12. Now that we know that 12 is the least common denominator for the fractions 3/4 and 2/3, we can write each fraction with a denominator of 12. If we take 3/4, multiply the numerator and the denominator by 3, we get 9/12. And if we take 2/3, multiply the numerator and the denominator by 4, we get 8/12. 9/12 and 8/12 are now like fractions. So now all we have to do is compare the numerators. Since 9 is greater than 8, the fraction 9/12 is greater than 8/12. In the fractions 3/4 and 2/3, we have two options. The first is to multiply the larger denominator 4 by 2 to get 8. Then you ask yourself, does 3 divide evenly into 8? And the answer is no. So we move on to the next number. We multiply the larger denominator 4 by 3 to get 12. Does 3 divide evenly into 12? The answer is yes. So 12 is a common denominator of the denominators 4 and 3. Common denominators. An example. Coco, Misu, and Tama decided to cross the lake. Coco rows 2/5 of the trip while Misu rows 1/2 of the trip. How much more does Tama need to row? If we look at 2/5 and 1/2, we notice they have unlike denominators. First, we ask ourselves, does 2 divide evenly into 5? The answer is no. So now we can take 5, multiply it by 2, and we get 10. Then we take 10 and divide it by the smaller denominator 2. Is 10 divisible by 2? The answer is yes. So 10 will be our common denominator. We can now take 2/5, multiply the numerator and the denominator by 2, and that equals 4/10. We can take 1/2, multiply the numerator and denominator by 5, and that gives us 5/10. And now we can go ahead and compare both fractions by adding them. 4/10 plus 5/10 equals 9/10. So Misu and Coco row 9/10 of the way. We take 10/10 and subtract it by 9/10, which gives us 1/10. And we notice that Tama has to row 1/10 of the way to reach the other side of the river. Compare fractions 5. To compare fractions with unlike denominators, rewrite the fractions with like or common denominators, making them like fractions. 3/12 and 5/12 both have like denominators, making them like fractions. To find a common denominator, think of the denominators 4 and 8 and 3/4 and 5/8. Does the smaller denominator 4 divide evenly into the larger 8? Yes. Then the larger denominator 8 is the common denominator. If the smaller denominator does not divide evenly into the larger, multiply the larger denominator by 2, 3, and then 4. Each time check for division by the smaller denominator.